Have you ever noticed how easy it is to form a bad habit and just how long it takes to form a good one? Hi, if we've not met before, I'm Shelley from Taming Frenzy. As anyone who has ever sat down with a bag of barbecued potato chips or an order of chili cheese fries can attest, forming a bad habit seems to be as easy as breathing. Good habits? Well, I don't guess I've ever formed a good habit that I didn't struggle mightily with. Perhaps you can relate. Conventional wisdom tells us that it takes 21 days to form a new habit. However, it turns out that 21-day thing, that's a myth. Big surprise, right? If you have struggled to get a new habit in place, you've probably hit the 22-day mark and then wondered, why isn't this coming easier? Why is this not automatic? It's supposed to be a habit by now. The simple fact is that it takes longer to form some habits than it does to form others. Which really makes sense to me once I sat down and thought about it. After all, there are things and behaviors that I'm more resistant to if I'm honest with myself. There are habits I know that I need to form, but that if I'm really honest with myself, I don't really want to. So while my superego is telling me to buck it up and persist and hang in there until I get this new habit formed, my id is throwing a temper tantrum and screaming and hollering about how unfair it all is. Please tell me I'm not the only one with this problem. So how long does it take to form a new habit? Well, the answer is, it depends. Yeah, I know. I kind of hate that answer too. The truth is that it depends upon your mindset and how big of a change you're trying to make from what you're currently in the habit of doing. If it's your habit to sit down and eat a bowl of ice cream every night, switching over to a bowl of frozen yogurt, it's probably not going to be that terrible of a change. It's probably not going to upset you that much. That's probably one that you can make a habit pretty quickly. On the other hand, if you're going from a bowl of ice cream every night to no sugar of any kind at all, that one's going to be a lot harder. Your body's going to have been used to getting that sugar. Psychologically, you may have found comfort in sitting down on the couch with that bowl of ice cream every night. That's going to be a harder habit to replace and change. And to be real honest, your id's going to scream at you for a while, demanding that you feed it ice cream. When we ask the question about how long it takes to form a habit, what we really are trying to figure out is the answer to this question. Just how long am I going to have to suffer until this is automatic? Because let's face it, none of us wants to struggle any more than we have to. And while it can vary from one person to the next, and from one habit to the next, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, it's easier to create a new habit than it is to get rid of an old one. Know before you even get started that it's going to take longer for you to give up that bad habit of scrolling your phone every night before you go to bed, or having a late night snack. And whenever possible, try to replace that old habit with something new in its place. I'll give you an example here. I used to absolutely love my Sonic drink that was Coke Zero with vanilla with that wonderful, crunchy, chewable ice. I loved that drink, and I could drink it from sun up until sundown. I mean, I may have seriously been addicted to it, to be real honest. Now, chemo took care of part of that, because after chemo, colas just flat don't taste good to me anymore. But then I discovered that I could substitute lemonade for the vanilla Coke, and the lemonade was just as delicious. And I loved that, and every time I passed by Sonic, I told my husband we have to pull in there, and I need my lemonade before we leave town. When I finally examined the situation, I realized that yes, while I love the lemonade, it's absolutely delicious, what I really wanted was that wonderful, crunchy, chewable ice that I love so much. So these days, instead of asking for my lemonade, I ask for a big glass of ice water with that wonderful, crunchy, chewable ice that I love, and then some slices of lemon and lime to be added. That way I get the flavor, but primarily I get the ice, which is what I really was craving the most. And so far, I'm pretty happy with this solution. I get something to drink, I get something I like, and I'm not getting all that sugar that I'm trying to avoid. Now, this one's been a pretty easy substitution, and I will admit right up front that all substitutions are not that easy. But it illustrates the idea, and then you can apply that to your own particular situation. Habits will form faster if you can keep some piece of the habit intact. For example, if you stick to the same time of day or the same environment, it will be easier to swap a good habit in for a bad habit. An example of this might be that instead of reaching for a snack to perk you up at night while you're watching TV, instead to reach for some needlepoint that you're working on, a hobby. I personally do needlepoint, but my sister-in-law does crochet, and in her TV time, she makes the most beautiful things, and she has something to occupy her hands, and it then has something tangible to show for her time and effort. Or you could turn off the TV, open up a book, or find a video or a podcast and engage in some kind of self-study. It also helps to have a constant reminder of why you were trying to change the habit in the first place. Remind yourself every day that you're exercising and doing this workout because you want to be able to play with your grandkids out in the yard, or that you're trying to lower your blood sugar so that you can avoid other health issues that might arise. You can also create a vision board that has pictures of the ideal that you're trying to attain. This might include photos of your dream house, of the car you want to purchase next, of you being thinner and fitter, or out running around playing with kids in a yard. Keep your reasons right in front of you to motivate you until this new habit truly does become a habit. Yes, it's going to take you some time to create new habits and to replace bad ones. It will not happen overnight. It may not even happen in 21 days. But if you stick with it long enough, it will happen, it will become a habit, and it will have been worth it. So what's a new habit that you'd like to create, or maybe an old habit that you would like to get rid of? Leave me a comment below. Let's talk about it.